could you do in one day? When it comes to how you spend your time, you want it to be intentional, impactful, inspiring, and you want your investment to be worth it. The Modern Lab Leader Online Symposium is your chance to unplug, refocus, and level up your leadership in just one day. Learn from world-class speakers and thought leaders across industries. Gain practical tools to amplify your influence and lead with confidence. Invest in yourself. Invest in your future. Register today for free. What could you do in one day? When it comes to how you spend your time, you want it to be intentional, impactful, inspiring, and you want your investment to be worth it. The Modern Lab Leader Online Symposium is your chance to unplug, refocus, and level up your leadership in just one day. Learn from world-class speakers and thought leaders across industries. Gain practical tools to amplify your influence and lead with confidence. Invest in yourself. Invest in your future. Register today for free. What could you do in one day? When it comes to how you spend your time, you want it to be intentional, impactful, inspiring, and you want your investment to be worth it. The Modern Lab Leader Online Symposium is your chance to unplug, refocus, and level up your leadership in just one day. Learn from world-class speakers and thought leaders across industries. Gain practical tools to amplify your influence and lead with confidence. Invest in yourself. Invest in your future. Register today for free.
Hi, I'm Princess Senate, conference producer at Technology Networks, and I am here to introduce our next talk from our Technology Spotlight sponsor, LabVantage, Unleashing the Power of AI-Powered LIMS in Food and Beverage Testing. I am pleased to welcome Daniel Cole. Daniel's career in LIMS began way back in 1990, and he's been with LabVantage since 1995. He's witnessed the company's impressive growth firsthand, from a team of 30 to nearly 500 employees today. Throughout his career, Daniel has held various leadership and management roles and currently serves as a strategic account executive. A warm welcome to you, Daniel. Following the presentation, we will also have a Q&A session, and we welcome any questions that you may have. Please ask questions using the Q&A system to the right-hand side of the video player. While you're here, don't forget to check out all of the free-to-download literature and resources from LabVantage available below the live stream player. And without further ado, I will now hand over to Daniel to begin his presentation.
Thank you, Princess, and thank you all for joining. We have a short amount of time today, only 20 minutes that we've allocated for this, so I'm going to try to be as on point as possible and also try to keep this as casual. I've already been introduced, you know, the topic, so I'm going to dive straight in. What I intend to do is take you through a set of slides that will kind of highlight about AI in the food and beverage testing, some of the benefits we see. Of course, every one of us has heard about AI in the news. AI has been around for a long time. We've seen the good and the bad, and I guess in movies and such. What I'm going to focus on is where the benefits of AI, how we can leverage AI in food and beverage testing to make our lives better, improve data, improve access to information, and so on. So let's start with our first slide on enhanced data analysis and insights, basically leading to better and more timely insights for you and your lab and ultimately the corporation. When you look at AI, AI is really meant to mine the data, not only in the lab, but potentially the data across the corporation and bringing that data together. It's data that will then be used in a manner and in a speed that you can't today. AI can make decisions a lot faster than we can. We tell AI what decisions we want for it to make and what recommendations. So as I go through this presentation, I'd ask that you ask yourself, how is this going to impact my lab? How will it impact my organization as a whole? And ultimately, how will it impact the consumers that we serve? So in the lab, AI is something that we can take advantage of. We're going to want to centralize the lab data first off. So if at all possible, if you're multi-site, single site, you're going to want to have the data in a single place. That typically leads most of our customers to what's called a SaaS deployment, software as a service. We probably have heard about SaaS. It is a deployment where your system is deployed in the cloud. No risk or security issues there because we do keep all of your data completely segregated on different servers, and then ultimately consolidate that data into what are called data warehouses or data lakes. So looking at the individual bullets, AI-powered pattern recognition. So understanding patterns in data is not something that we can do really easily as human beings because we just can't see the data in a certain way. But you apply algorithms that are then interrogated by the AI, and you can analyze vast sets of data at a speed that you ultimately can't do today. Almost instantaneously. Ultimately, you're looking for patterns and trends leading to improved food safety and ultimately product optimization. If we look at predictive analytics, analytics, again, a buzzword that we've all heard a lot in today's world. It definitely works best when it's based on both historical and current data. So if you don't have a system in place today, you're recording your data in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's in Excel, maybe it's in a proprietary database or some other system. You're going to want to have the AI looking at both the historical and the new data as you add it. Ultimately, the outcome that we're all looking for is to be more proactive versus reactive. And the AI is definitely going to help us by providing the information and maybe even help us do things like prevent contamination or identify and remediate quality issues before they happen. That would be nice if we can predict things. And that's the whole idea of the predictive analytics side of AI. And then the last bullet, automating the anomaly detection. Basically, you're looking to flag in real time. If an anomaly occurs or if an anomaly is predicted, we want to flag that as soon as possible so that, again, we can be proactive rather than reactive. Seeing those trends and patterns to help reduce and prevent and predict anomalies is critical. So let's move on to the next slide. Next slide is improved efficiencies and streamlined workflows. Ultimately, if you look at the workflow on the right-hand side, what it's depicting is a high-level and very typical manufacturing-focused workflow process. Bear in mind, too, that AI are your algorithms. It's adapted to what you do to your process. If your process isn't represented as shown in this diagram here, which is just up there, for example, it can be adapted to focus on any type of workflow, whether you're manufacturing or you're a contract food testing laboratory, or maybe even in research and development. If we look at the individual bullets, automated data entry and analysis, AI needs to be more focused on the analysis side. Once the data is gathered and stored in the LIMS or pushed to the data warehouse, that's where AI adds its value, because more data that you have, the more analysis and analytics the AI can be used to apply. Optimizing your test protocols, again, analyzing the historical data. We need to look at the historical data to help you make better and faster decisions. And that ultimately is the goal. Resource optimization, next bullet. When we talk about resources in a laboratory, we're talking about all of your equipment, not only your testing equipment and instruments themselves, but the components that go into the testing. It could be a column in a GC. It could be a storage location that has temperature and humidity that you have to monitor. And then, of course, resource also points to the personnel. Everyone has underutilized and overutilized resources in and outside the laboratory. Using AI to monitor those resources, know trends, know when folks are going to be on vacation, know when an instrument's going to be down for calibration or maintenance, the AI can apply algorithms to then help you balance that workload to help optimize how you do things within the laboratory. So again, more benefits. Go to the fourth slide. Fourth slide is really going to focus on strengthening the food safety and quality control itself. Ultimately, the key point here is real time. If we do things real time, then we can do it faster. We want to identify risks. We want to identify opportunities and then propose interventions. Interventions where if we see that there's a pattern of something going on, what can we do to change it? Maybe akin to a CAPA system that you have today, manual, where you've got corrective actions and preventive actions that go into place based on planned and unplanned events that may happen. Well, AI can help you make decisions on those, again, to propose interventions. Ultimate goal, we want to, if we're manufacturing a product, we want to have better product. We want to increase the speed at which we can produce the product, improve the safety of the process that goes on, reduce the costs, and improve our margins. Let's face it, in the food and beverage industry, every one of my customers works on, generally speaking, pretty small margins. It's not a pharmaceutical where you've got pretty large margins. So any increase in our margins is huge to the bottom line, and AI can definitely help with that. When we look at traceability, we want to look at traceability end to end. Now, I have a lot of customers in food and beverage that implement our system end to end. And when I say end to end, I mean from the research and development and technology side all the way through manufacturing and shipping. If you don't have that in place, and let's say that you have it focused exclusively on the manufacturing side, you just want to be end to end from the beginning of the process, from raw material all the way through in process, finished goods, and shipped product, where you can trace everything that you do. And that really is critical. AI tracking and tracing, all of that, again, looking for trends, looking for anomalies is critical. Compliance. Every organization I deal with today, not just food and beverage and pharmaceutical, but every organization I deal with, it could be petrochemical, chemical, you name it, they all have someone that they have to report to and comply with. Systems like a LIMS that employ AI definitely can help you adhere with that compliance. Stay up to date on regulatory compliance. Stay within compliance. If you have to have audits, be those audits of customers or an auditor from the FDA or some other organization, again, AI will help you prepare and make sure that you're ready for those types of interventions. Let's go to the next slide. This next slide really focuses on what are the things that AI can do in addition to the many other things that we just talked about. While there definitely are a lot of benefits that one can get from AI, and this has been proven in a lot of industries, in food and beverage, my experience is that food and beverage tends to be a little slower to adopt new technologies like AI, no exception, and really is just in the process of adopting it now. I've got customers like Maple Leaf Food out of Canada that is probably more advanced and jumps into things, and they're doing a lot with analytics and AI today to improve their processes and ultimately their products. But you know, AI doesn't exactly have the most positive press. You know, whether you were a fan of the Terminator and the Matrix that talk about AI, it's gotten people very concerned. I won't. Well, I will say that AI, in the way that it's employed within the laboratory and organizations, is extremely safe. Again, the algorithms that you put together are purpose-built for your processes and the decisions that you want AI to help you with. This ultimately is really just faster thinking, faster than we humans can do to help make and propose decisions and paths that ultimately are going to make our jobs easier and our products better. In technical terms, as I said, AI is nothing more than what you define it to be. The algorithms are created to mimic your specific use cases, where computer and defined logic, business logic makes sense. If there's subjective decisions to be done, as I said, there's always going to be a role for us in the process. And again, it's going to be tailored to your specific needs. My advice, as we look at this, I always tell people, don't jump in to the deep section, jump into the shallow section, try a few use cases, some use cases where you think you can really get significant benefit, and then implement those. Prove not only to your executives, but really proven to your users in the laboratory that there is benefit to using AI. And once you do that, it's kind of like interfacing instruments. Once you open up the door, people are going to want more. They're going to see other ways that AI can be used. And when you choose a vendor, ultimately AI is a tool that's out there and available by a lot of companies. In our case at LabVantage, we have a purpose-built analytics and AI tool that's fully integrated with our LIMS system and has out-of-the-box use cases. So I always recommend choose a vendor that really understands your needs. If the vendor hasn't worked in the food and beverage industry before, that should probably be a red flag for you. But ultimately, looking at these additional benefits, we're always looking to reduce costs. If we can reduce costs, then we can increase our margins. If we can improve decision-making, speed of decision-making, and so on, then ultimately that's going to lead us to better decisions, better products, and then hopefully better competitiveness within the industry. Enhanced innovation. Can't stress enough. A lot of this presentation is really focused on the manufacturing side. We have a short amount of time, but helping our colleagues in R&D in food and beverage is critical as well, as they develop new formulations and try to determine what's the most cost-effective formulation based on the raw materials that they use, for example. AI can definitely help in that regard. As I finish out, I'll just kind of leave this slide up here for a second. This is a sampling of some of our customers in the food and beverage industry. We are definitely a leader in the world of LIMS. Food and beverage makes up at least 20% of our customer base, and it's growing fast as the FDA and other organizations increase their requirements for compliance, food safety, and so on. Our role, be it with a LIMS, implementing AI, is beginning to expand more and more, certainly in the food and beverage industry. So with that, I will thank you all for your time, your attention, and I will pass it back to Princess.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for that fantastic talk on AI in the food and beverage industry. We have received a lot of interest during your presentation, and I see we have several questions queued up already, so let's jump right in. So for our first question from our audience is AI being deployed in other industries as widely as it is in food and beverage?
Yeah, truth is, it's being deployed more widely in other industries. As I mentioned and alluded to, been my experience over my many years in food and beverage, that food and beverage tends to be a little slower to adopt and adapt to new technologies. Again, very sensitive to margins, but food and beverage is moving in. But yeah, we have a lot of other customers in life sciences and pharma and petrochemical that are definitely making inroads into AI.
That's a great point, Daniel. Moving on, our next question focuses on taking action. So given the clear advantages of AI, for those interested in learning more, what are the next steps can they take to explore how AI can further benefit their lab and organization?
Well, certainly leave the door open. If you have any questions and follow-up, feel free to reach back through Princess and this organization with any questions. If we can help in any way, you know, I kind of see us as consultants in this industry. It is still new. It's new technology. So educating folks along the way is really part of our goal. So feel free to reach out anytime afterwards with questions that you may have.
Thank you, Daniel. So let's shift gears slightly here. So your presentation seemed to focus mostly on the manufacturing side. Can AI be used to assist further in R&D?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I mentioned a little bit at the end. I will say that my first experience with my customers in AI was in research and development. I had a number of customers that in R&D were not only researching new products, but improving products along the way. Again, looking for new formulations, new raw materials, new ways to manufacture, and leveraging AI to analyze their historical data and how they had done things, vendors that they'd used, raw materials, and so on, has really allowed them to significantly shorten their development process and ultimately get the product to market faster.
Thanks, Daniel. As your session is coming to a close, I do have one final question for you, which you have kind of answered earlier on, but so probably worth exploring further. Could you offer some alternative ways for our attendees to connect with potential collaborators within the LabVantage network for those who see some potential synergies with their customers or suppliers?
Yeah, I shared a slide with our a sampling of our customers. My guess is that some of you that are watching this presentation are familiar with many of those names. Maybe some of them are suppliers to you. Maybe you're a supplier to them. But if you have any questions, if you'd like to speak to a customer directly, again, I would encourage you to reach out to LabVantage through Princess and team. And we'll try to get you in contact with the right people once we understand your specific need and use case.
Thanks, Daniel. Again, thank you so much for your insightful answers and for sharing your expertise with us today. We've covered a lot of ground, and unfortunately, that is all the time we have for questions. So any questions that we didn't get time to address today will be sent to the speaker after the event. And while you're here, again, don't forget to check out the free downloadable resources from LabVantage available below the live stream player. Once again, a big thank you to Daniel for a fantastic presentation. We appreciate you joining us today, and we'll be back soon with the next talk.
Thank you.